So these videos are going to be about baked goods, not bread per se, but some of the other goodies that are so popular in all cultures. My versions are a little different, still a treat, but with perhaps a different mixture of ingredients that satisfy while still being, mostly, good for you. For example, I use whole wheat flour in lieu of refined white flour, olive oil instead of butter, cranberries instead of sugar. Instead of just presenting a recipe, I'll discuss each ingredient, what it's for, nutrition, and health implications. And always, I encourage you to experiment. That's how you become a better baker, a better cook. The first recipe is a soda bread, which are often flavored and sweetened and considered to be a dessert bread. Soda breads get their rise from baking soda rather than yeast, as with conventional breads.
This one is chocolate cranberry banana nut bread.
Sounds really good, but how can this thing be healthy with a name that starts with chocolate? Well, the chocolate comes from cocoa powder, which contains no sugar and no fat.
Wheat flour is the basic ingredient of most types of baked breads and cakes in Western cuisine. I use whole wheat flour because it has substantial health benefits. It contains 10 to 12% fiber compared to 2 to 3% in refined white flour. Refining whole grains removes vital nutrients, dietary fiber, and other beneficial phytochemicals, leaving only the starch-rich endosperm. Whole wheat contains both soluble and insoluble dietary fiber, much more of the insoluble variety. Soluble fiber helps to reduce LDL, that's low-density lipoprotein, the so-called bad cholesterol, while insoluble fiber serves as a bulking agent, reducing intestinal transit time. Eating whole grains reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease, cancers, gastrointestinal disorders, and type 2 diabetes. In goes the baking soda and baking powder. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, is used as a chemical leavener, reacting with acid to produce carbon dioxide bubbles. So there needs to be an acid for it to work properly. If there is no acid among your ingredients, you can use baking powder, which combines baking soda and an acid, often monocalcium phosphate, which activates at a low temperature, or sodium aluminum sulfate, which activates at a high temperature. If both low and high temperature acids are added to the sodium bicarbonate, the baking powder is said to be double acting, producing carbon dioxide at low temperature and again at high temperature. Because I'm adding lemon juice, which is acid, I could use only baking soda, but the double whammy can't hurt. Salt. Not much to say. We need some salt. It plays a critical role in regulating the body's systems, but too much raises blood pressure. You need about 500 milligrams of sodium per day. A Big Mac with the medium fries will give you 1,310 milligrams.
I don't eat much processed foods, besides whole grain cold cereals, so I don't get much salt from other sources. So I'm adding some. If you're already getting enough sodium in your diet, you can leave it out. It shouldn't affect the taste.
Cocoa powder is added for taste, of course. It has the antioxidant benefits of chocolate, without the added detrimental effects of fat and sugars. It reduces the risk for diabetes, protects nerves from injury and inflammation, and has a beneficial effect on cognitive function and mood. Flavonoids in cocoa relax blood vessels, lowering blood pressure. Note that cocoa powder contains theobromine, which in large doses is toxic to dogs. Cinnamon enhances the taste, but it's subtle. Cinnamon is made from the bark of different species of cinnamon trees. It comes in two varieties. I use Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon, the country, is now called Sri Lanka. The other kind goes by different names: Vietnamese, Saigon, or cassia cinnamon. Cassia cinnamon has a stronger flavor and is the kind commonly found in grocery stores. Ceylon cinnamon's active ingredient, cinnamaldehyde, has anti-inflammatory properties. Cassia cinnamon contains a lot of coumarin, which can be toxic to the liver and kidneys in large quantities. But if you're using cassia cinnamon in this recipe, the couple of teaspoons shouldn't matter one way or the other. The U.S. Department of Health says up to 6 grams per day of cassia is safe. Mix all these dry ingredients and then start adding the wet ones. Olive oil provides some moisture to the banana nut bread, and your diet needs some fat. This is just about the best there is. Olive oil is a key part of the Mediterranean diet and is the only oil I have in my pantry. Olive oil has the highest level of monounsaturated fatty acids among edible plant oils, which helps to lower your bad LDL cholesterol and increases the good cholesterol, high-density lipoprotein, HDL. It has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, lowers blood pressure, the risk of cardiovascular disease, and some cancers, as well as dementia.
You should use extra virgin olive oil. It's produced without high heat and chemical solvents, thereby protecting the chemicals in olives, called phenols, which provide extra antioxidant effects. Eggs have been controversial for a long time because they contain a substantial amount of cholesterol.
At the same time, they are often called superfoods, containing essential proteins, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and bioactive compounds, as well as both saturated and monounsaturated fat. And also antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin, important to eye health, and choline, used to build cell membranes and other good things. Most people don't get enough choline from other sources. One egg contains just 78 calories, compared to 270 calories in a glazed donut. I use eggs from friends who raise chickens, fed organic enriched vegetarian feed, so they have higher levels of omega-3 fatty acid, which lowers blood triglycerides. Studies have shown eggs have both good and bad effects on serum cholesterol. Components other than cholesterol in eggs may positively affect cholesterol absorption, metabolism, transportation, and excretion. Certainly, eating eggs is healthier than consuming red meat. From the medical studies I've read, the bottom line seems to be that eating eggs in moderation is okay for most people, but may be bad for people who have other risk factors for cardiovascular disease.
I've decided that adding 1 egg to the recipe is beneficial because it is highly nutritional and lightens the texture. You could use 2 eggs or none without damage. Bananas. This is banana nut bread after all. I eat about 500 bananas a year and have a bunch of banana trees in my backyard. I love bananas. This recipe uses ripe bananas, easy to digest.
Ripe bananas are high in soluble fiber, something that helps reduce LDL and blood pressure. They're high in potassium for organ health, vitamin C, an antioxidant, and B6 for your immune system, metabolic processes, and nervous system health, as well as magnesium. Green bananas are different. They are high in resistant starch, a prebiotic that promotes good bacteria in your colon. As bananas ripen, the resistant starch converts to sugars, fructose, glucose, and a lesser amount of sucrose. Ripe bananas, however, still have a relatively low glycemic index, 42 to 58, on a scale of 0 to 100. A food's glycemic index is a measure of how fast your blood sugar rises 2 hours after eating that food. Whole grains, nuts, legumes, fruits, and vegetables without starch have a low glycemic index. Foods with a high glycemic index include potatoes, white rice, and white bread. The fiber in ripe bananas slows the absorption of the sugars.
Oatmeal improves the texture of the banana nut bread and adds some body, but I add it because of its health benefits.
Whole grain oats are one of the foods, including brown rice, beans, bananas, berries, avocado, etc., that are highest in soluble fiber, which helps to lower LDL. Whole grain oats specifically contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which has important benefits for metabolic syndrome, which is a group of conditions including a large waistline, high blood pressure, high blood sugar levels, high blood triglycerides, and low HDL cholesterol. About 1 in 3 adult Americans have metabolic syndrome. I combine the half cup of dry oatmeal with 1 cup of water and microwave on high for 70 seconds. If you were just eating it by itself, you would cook it longer, but here it will cook some more during baking. You could experiment with less pre-cooking or less liquid for a more textured nut bread. I don't add the hot oatmeal to the mixture right away. It could cook the egg. I first mix the cool liquid with the oatmeal and then add that to the mixture. Liquid. I use soy milk and lemon juice, squeezing the lemon into a measuring cup and then adding soy milk to bring it up to 1 cup. The soy milk has 50% more calcium than cow's milk and no saturated fat. It does have plenty of essential fatty acids, omega-6 and omega-3. I add the lemon juice for 3 reasons. 1. It's high in vitamin C, an antioxidant, flavonoids, antibacterial and antifungal properties, and improves the absorption of iron from plant sources. 2. It provides an acid to activate the baking soda. And 3. I have a lemon tree in my backyard that produces way too many lemons. You can substitute another liquid without damage. I add peppermint extract for that extra little kick. Then thoroughly mix all of that and add the goodies. Walnuts taste good and have higher antioxidant activity and significantly more healthy omega-3 fatty acids than any other common nut. They can help to lower LDL. Cranberries add a nice tartness to baked goods, better than the sweetness of sugar. I use cranberries a lot in my baking. I buy about 20 bags, fresh, in November and freeze them to last all year. Cranberries are very rich in anthocyanins, which are blue, red, and purple pigments found in plants, including berries, that have strong antioxidant effects. Studies have shown they may also have anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory effects and improve cardiovascular health. Eating cranberries dried or as a juice significantly reduces the benefits you would get eating them fresh or frozen. Drying removes vitamins, and using them in a juice removes fiber, iron, calcium, and adds sugar. And finally, chocolate chips, because they are a guilty pleasure. I only add 1/3 of a cup to the whole recipe. That I cut into 6 to 8 pieces, so only a few chips per serving. I use a bundt pan, but you can use cake or bread pans. You'll have to figure out the times. And even though this is a non-stick pan, I still spray with olive oil cooking spray. I suggest baking at 350 degrees Fahrenheit fan convection oven. With any new recipe, it's best to set the timer for less than you expect will be needed. In this case, check the internal temperature after 30 minutes. Using time alone is never a good idea, especially for a new recipe in a different oven.
Even if you have made a recipe multiple times, in the same oven, the consistency of the batter will often change. For example, depending on the size of the bananas. In my oven, with this pan, this recipe most often takes 33 minutes.
At a minimum, stick a toothpick in to check dryness, but that's not foolproof due to the mix of ingredients. It's best to use a cooking thermometer to measure internal temperature to test if it's done. This one cost about $15, but others can cost much more, while perhaps not giving better results. I look for an internal temperature of about 195 degrees Fahrenheit, plus or minus. Below 185, the bread will trend toward gooey, and as you approach 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point of water, the bread will be seriously dry as all the moisture flashes off. Most people will aim for nicely moist. Depending on the texture you're looking for, you could shoot for 185 degrees Fahrenheit, most moist, to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, firm. I'm not too picky as long as I'm in the range. Done. Ready to be gobbled up.
So I talked about some of the ingredients having antioxidant or anti-inflammatory properties. But exactly what do those terms mean?
Antioxidants go after free radicals, which are chemicals that steal electrons from molecules in the body, such as strands of DNA or cellular membranes, etc. Free radicals are a byproduct of metabolism, just as aging is a byproduct of metabolizing food. So you can't avoid them, although a restricted calorie diet will minimize them. Too much damage by free radicals results in oxidative stress, which can contribute to or cause chronic diseases such as cancer, heart disease, cognitive decline, and vision loss. Antioxidants combat the effect of free radicals by having the chemical ability to give up some of their electrons to the free radicals. So the free radicals won't take electrons from little bits of your body. You can get antioxidants as supplements, for example, vitamin pills, but supplements are not that effective because they generally only have one ingredient. Antioxidants tend to work best in combination with other nutrients, plant chemicals, and other antioxidants, as when you get antioxidants from foods, for example, strawberries. And second, anti-inflammatory. Most people are familiar with aspirin and ibuprofen. These are in a class of drugs known as NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Some foods can have the same effects. Your immune system causes inflammation when it's activated to repel an outside invader, alien microbes and such. When your immune system is overstimulated and keeps working, even after the threat is gone, you can end up with chronic inflammation. A bad thing, because it's linked to the likes of cancer, diabetes, arthritis, dementia, and heart disease. If your diet is rich in anti-inflammatory foods, your risk of having some of these chronic diseases goes down.
And that's it for now. Pizza next time. 2 of 6. No cranberries on the pizza. Thanks for watching.